All right, YouTube, this is Detroit's HPTV coming to you out of Detroit on this Monday morning. I got 3 clips for you this morning dealing with the black community and their relationship to the Democratic Party. I'm going to show you what Minister Louis Farrakhan actually said about Donald Trump. And I'm going to show you also what Malcolm X said about the Democratic Party. And then I'm going to show you what the D.C. residents are actually saying about what's going on with the National Guard being deployed in D.C. See, the Democrats, they holding on to the mentality and the emotionalism of the black community. I had somebody tell me about the Civil Rights Bill of LBJ. LBJ, Lyndon Baines Johnson, didn't write that bill. It was a Republican bill. Yes, it was. It was a Republican bill, and they forced LBJ, the Democrat, to sign a civil rights bill. They kept forcing him. He didn't want to give you a civil rights bill, just like the Democrats right now don't want to give you a crime bill, a hate bill, or they don't even want to protect you in your community. They despise you. They're the same Democrats that fought to uphold slavery, and the same Democrats that created the Ku Klux Klan, the same Democrats that created redlining and Jim Crow. But you don't want to hear that. I know. You don't want to take it from me. But as far as who we can listen to, there is nobody in the black community that doesn't think and know that Malcolm X was a genuine person who had the best interests of our community. And he called a black Democrat a chump and a traitor because you're so mad about Trump. But who told you that Trump was against black people? You didn't say he was against black people when he went to court every day with Michael Jackson. You didn't say he was a racist when Jennifer Hudson's family was destroyed and he flew to Trump Towers. You didn't say he was a racist when he gave Reverend Al Sharpton money for the Rainbow Coalition or whatever that is he had. You didn't say he was a racist when he backed Jesse Jackson. You didn't say he was a racist when he created the First Step Act. When did he become our enemy? Who told you that? I know who told you that. Your masters, who you give 90% of your vote to. So now you have the black community. You have the left over there, which are the liberals, still under the influence of the Dixiecrats, even though they give them nothing. They can never find a solution for none of your problems. They don't even try. But yet you blindly give them your vote. And at this point, who can even understand why? Why? See, I know you don't want to take it from me. You feel like, oh, well, he's just an old guy in the car making a video. But you respect Malcolm X, don't you? And a lot of y'all even respect Farrakhan. But do y'all even respect the voices of the people in the communities like D.C., Baltimore, New York that just had a mass shooting? No, you don't want to hear that because you're so emotional and you want to be so close to your master because you want the biscuits and the crumbs off their table that you don't even want equality and justice. You talk about J. Edgar Hoover and his attack on our community, but that was a Democratic regime. So without further ado, I want to play this first clip, and it's Minister Farrakhan. Then I'm going to play a clip by Malcolm X. And then I'm going to play the clip from yesterday about the D.C. residents. And when you listen to these clips and what I've said, you weigh it against the truth and the history in this country. And you put on your thinking cap and you think about what's in the best interest of your own communities. So without further ado, let's get into these clips. This for fair usage under the 1976 Copyright Act, for education and commentary. Let's see what Farrakhan says.
Some people would argue that it's better now that the racism is more in our face rather than hidden. What's your perspective on that?
Well, that wasn't the intent of this administration to do a lot of good for us. But the nature of this administration is good for us. Because now, sometimes you think you're where you are not. And so Trump is letting you know where you really stand. And because of Trump's way, he is an anomaly. There's never been no president quite like Mr. Trump. But there's something that he's doing. I'm going to come out in a few weeks and talk about it. But Trump is destroying every enemy that was an enemy of our rise. Who's the enemy of our rise?
Now, I'm just going to interject right there for a minute. He said that Donald Trump, the man y'all love to hate, is destroying every enemy to black people's rise and upward mobility. He said this years ago. And you can't see that Trump removing all these illegal immigrants out of your communities and putting law enforcement in your communities is helping you. He's getting rid of the cheap labor that undercut your wages. He's moving threats that are in your community that come from other countries, third world countries. And he's restructuring the whole Department of Justice. And Trump said that the Democratic Party had done black people very bad. But this is Farrakhan talking. And then I'm going to show you what Malcolm X said. And then I'm going to show you what the people are saying right now. So in the black community, why are we so anti-Trump and so pro-Democrat?
Is it the Department of Justice where we get none? Is it Congress where you make a law that favors us and then you turn around and destroy it? Is it the media that has destroyed every black leader that stood up for us, calling us out of our name? Martin Luther King suffered it. Malcolm suffered it. Du Bois suffered it. Marcus Garvey suffered it. So he's attacking the media, calls it fake news. Well, I don't think everything is fake, but I know very well that we have been the victims of some fake news.
Yes.
He's beating up the FBI. Go at it, baby! Because they've been beating the hell out of us ever since J. Edgar Hoover and the counterintelligence program of the U.S. government. So go ahead, Mr. Trump.
Now I'm going to show you what Malcolm X said about the Democratic Party. Y'all really ain't going to like what Malcolm said.
Any minority that has a block of votes that's fit.
Because Malcolm's going to explain to you why the Democrats won't protect you. They won't do anything for you because they keep you as a voting bloc. They fearmonger you and they keep you tethered to them so they can acquire power at your expense, but they do nothing for you. Now listen what Malcolm said.
Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who goes to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You can keep Johnson in Washington, D.C., or you can send him back to his Texas cotton patch. You're the one who sent Kennedy to Washington. You're the one who put the present Democratic administration administration in Washington, D.C. The whites were evenly divided. It was the fact that you threw 80% of your votes behind the Democrats that put the Democrats in the White House.
And Malcolm said this years ago. And the black women who threw 90% of their vote behind Kamala because she was a woman and a Democrat, it wasn't even enough to get her in the office. Not this time. Because people are not as politically dumb as they used to be. But the Democrats, they still have a hold on your mentality. You are still psychologically their slaves. Y'all always talk about J. Edgar Hoover like he wasn't doing what he was doing under the Democratic administration. Like the Kennedys didn't sick him on the civil rights movement. Like they didn't co-opt it by extorting Martin Luther King. And to this day, they don't even want you to have protection. They want you in these crime-ridden, impoverished areas to maintain control over you psychologically because you're always begging them for something.
You can see that the Negro vote is the key factor. And despite the fact that you are in a position to be the determining factor, what do you get out of it? The Democrats have been in Washington, D.C. only because of the Negro vote. They've been down there 4 years. And all other legislation they wanted to bring up, they brought it up and gotten it out of the way, and now they bring up you. And now they bring up you. You put them first, and they put you last. Because you're a chump. A political chump. In Washington, D.C., in the House of Representatives, there are 257 who are Democrats. Only 177 are Republican. In the Senate, there are 67 Democrats. Only 33 are Republicans. The party that you back controls 2/3 of the House of Representatives and the Senate, and still they can't keep their promise to you because you're a chump. Anytime you throw your weight behind a political party that controls 2/3 of the government, and that party can't keep the promise that it made to you during election time, and you're dumb enough to walk around continuing to identify yourself with that party, you're not only a chump, but you're a traitor to your race. And what kind of alibi do they come up with? They try and pass the buck to the Dixiecrats. Now, back during the days when you were blind, deaf, and dumb, ignorant, politically immature, naturally you went along with that. But today, as your eyes come open and you develop political maturity, you're able to see and think for yourself. And you can see that a Dixiecrat is nothing but a Democrat in disguise.
Well, Malcolm called y'all traitors. Y'all like to say all kind of things about a black person who's conservative because y'all in love with the Democrats so much that y'all abandon all y'all conservative views. And now y'all become exactly what the Democratic Party made you, to where you reject freedom and help. Now, let's look at the present day. What's going on in D.C.? Look at this.
Here's the crazy thing about using a men's deodorant. There is nothing special about a men's deodorant. It is...
Why is it from Denver, Colorado, saying DC's not... Why is it...
Now, check out this young brother and check out these people in D.C. And this is Anthony Brian Logan. Shout out to Anthony Brian Logan if I'm doing a reaction to what he did. Look at this.
From Denver, Colorado, saying DC's not that bad, and Trump is just trying to be a dictator. Gang, DC is like Gotham City.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about black DC residents destroying the liberal narrative that Trump is a dictator and a racist for his federal takeover of the Washington, D.C. Police Department. Now, this is a very important video for me to make. First of all, if y'all don't know, I'm born in Charleston, West Virginia, grew up Virginia Beach, Norfolk. I got a lot of family in D.C., inside the actual city, like off of Bendon Road. Okay, I got family in D.C., around D.C., Cap Heights, PG County, Waldorf, Bowie, Eastern Shore, all around the whole DMV and inside the city. I've been going there for my entire life. All of my 40 years, I've been going to D.C. quite a bit. So I know a lot about the city. And what I'm seeing from people is ignorance. They don't know what's happening in D.C. They don't understand the real issues. Furthermore, they don't understand that a crackdown on crime is going to help Black people more than anybody else. So why is that a bad thing? Before I go any further, I'm going to show you NBC News' narrative. They're going to try to spin this whole racist thing, but even they were having a hard time doing that. After we watch this, I got a few more clips from D.C. residents who tell you exactly what's going on. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
I see too much violent crime being committed by young punks who think that they can get together in gangs and crews and beat the hell out of you or anyone else.
They don't go around in gangs and stuff like that. Like, they go around with their friends to have fun, to go out and be with each other, not to beat people up.
If people are beating people up and they do it in an organized fashion, meaning they're always together, it's always the same people, that's called a gang.
The youth, they don't purposely try to cause trouble.
I feel like I wanted to be safe as far as for everybody, not just for certain people.
Earlier this summer, D.C.'s City Council passed legislation to enact a juvenile curfew after incidents involving large crowds of young people near the Wharf, Navy Yard, and other parts of the city.
Pause. So was that Trump doing that, or was that D.C.'s council that did that? Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
We sat down with Christopher, Tristan, Lamont, and Blessin, all D.C. high schoolers and a part of the Community Action Group, where they provide presentations about drug prevention to their peers. They shared their thoughts about an increase in police officers, federal agents, and National Guard troops on D.C. streets.
I feel like they're viewing it as young Black kids. They just want to go out and they want to cause havoc.
That right there is what I hear from a lot of people that don't live there. People that just, they see it that way. And I understand why he would see it that way, because he's probably being told this, probably being kind of brainwashed into it. You, young man, are not going to be out there doing the crazy stuff. So why do you feel like it's about young Black kids? It's about the criminals. Just because they're Black does not mean it's about you, because you aren't a criminal, you see?
And do anything they want, just like a way to make people feel like they're always being watched and always being observed.
And I feel like with the police being there, sometimes that could be like helpful, because that do like make the youth a little bit more on edge with what they do.
Exactly. There we go. You're getting it. The kids are learning. Even on NBC, they're trying to push a narrative, and they're not necessarily being that successful at it.
When I see police, I think something bad happened. I mean, it's wrong on both sides. Kids sometimes do a little too much. They go overboard, but at the end of the day, we all just kids.
Now, look, I don't know about D.C., but in Virginia, you could be 14 years old, try as an adult. That whole they're just kids thing, it don't fly when you out here carjacking and shooting and thugging and drugging. Now, this guy you saw at the very beginning of the video talking about what's happening in D.C. All right, let's keep on going.
I don't understand it, and I don't think I ever will. Why the is people that's not from the city saying DC's not that bad? Why is it from Denver, Colorado saying DC's not that bad and Trump is just trying to be a dictator? Gang, DC is like Gotham City, bruh. Like, y'all do not know. Y'all out of towners, Mo. Mind y'all business, bruh.
The young brother said D.C. is like Gotham City. So, who's supposed to have came and helped these people in D.C.? Batman?
4 infants got killed in a month. This shoot is every day. Carjacking is every day. The city is wild right now, bruh. And it might say it's the lowest it's ever been. That's because this is not getting caught. There's so much going on. Y'all don't even know, bruh. I'm really recovering from getting shot in DC, gang. So for y'all out of towners to be like DC's not that bad and don't need to be done, y'all don't know, bro. Like for real, y'all don't know, bro. What Donald Trump is doing right now, getting the homeless off the street and putting all these law enforcement people in throughout DC, that shit needs to be done. Good. I'm tired of Gotham City, gang. I'm tired of bro. I'm trying to go to U Street and not have to worry about running from bullets, bro. I'm sick of that shit, gang.
There we go. Exactly. See, this is what I'm talking about.
I'm going to end on that note because you get the picture. So all of y'all who claim to be so conscious and woke, how come you are not woke enough to see that if something is not done in these communities, the quality of life for these young people will continue to deteriorate? And the Democratic Party only exists and survives if they can control black people and the narrative around the black community. They've never did anything for you. But you know that. But you have Trump derangement so bad. You act as if Trump is the one that created the 94 crime bill and called you super predators and said you must be brought to heel and said that you would turn the school into racial jungles. It was the Democrats that decimated communities of black men who took them out the home with their crime bills and their welfare state and their duplicitousness. But they gave you Barry Soetoro, and now you loyal. And now you at odds with the conservatives on the side of the black community. But you say that you Christians, or some of you might even say you Muslims. And the Quran and the Bible are two of the most conservative books ever written. What you have embraced is the Democrats' hypocrisy and duplicitousness, and now you're in your feelings and you're emotional. Because even though your communities are out of order and in total chaos, you don't even want to do nothing about it. You'd rather watch everybody suffer just so you can look good to the Democratic Party, even though they powerless and will never be back in power again. So this is how we started this Monday. This is Detroit's HPTV, coming to you out of Detroit. Like, share, and subscribe. Keep your head on a swivel. And as always, salute to all patriots. Peace.